freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey, folks. Dude here. Coming to you again. An iteration of Dude After Dark. Hang on a second. Let me drop my brightness on my tablet here because it's like I have this kind of glow thing going on. All right. So anyway, good stuff like that there. Let me get this thing up and doing what it needs to do. Looking at my stock of stuff, as it were. I really have been kind of doing a month of answering back to the month of how do I say this without saying this? The whole how do I say this without saying this? But
I pooped from there.
Oh, that yeah, it's definitely that month. Okay, it's more than a little bit of yeah, and we're talking about the whole big old yeah, they're just kind of doing it to its nth degree in length, depth, and breadth, and amounts therein that the Human Rights Committee, the HRC, whatever those guys are like, hey ho, you got to do it our way because we're going to tell you the best ways to do it because that's how we do things. Hey, who, yeah. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, I've just recently heard. Hang on a second, sound guy. You got to put on the appropriate soundtrack, okay? If we're going to be talking about Diz, you got to bring on the appropriate sound effects. Yeah. All right, so I've just heard that the amount of taxable revenue, translation, the stock option pricing, and all the rest of the good stuff like that there for Disney Disney is now down $90 billion in terms of worth. So I think it could be said that pretty much everybody's looking at it and going, okay, do I really want to spend my money there? Do I really want to attend this place? They're doing all kinds of untoward items that I'm really not happy with. Let's just
I say we take off and nuke the entire bitch for more of it.
Yeah, because
that's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
It could be said that they have they've pushed too far. And many people are now really, truly, are just sound guy.
No zone.
Okay, they've now entered into the
no zone.
He really likes just playing just the klaxon. He likes to hear just the klaxon going. It's like, like his favorite thing on the planet. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, a lot of people have now decided that the option of Disney and I'm trying to be, snarky about it because obviously they'll have all kinds of, Disney land police going after me going, hey, you can't say our name otherwise. No, sound guy, there is no they sound guy, no, they do not use. Okay, it's safe to say that Disney doesn't like do that type of stuff because they don't employ that kind of stuff because, well, they're well, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say this week on reality, Disney gets his butt kicked yet again. $90 billion worth. Why? People don't want to spend their money there. So anyway, looking at things as it is, people are just not spending their money in Disney. All right, so they're not going to Disney, and they're not using Disney Disney. I can actually just say it. I'm just being snarky. They actually aren't getting the Disney Plus on their cable networks. So, looking at things as it is, they are deciding it's just not worth their time, and they're just not into it, supporting that type of mindset, of which they tend to be picking a side of the aisle. Okay, let's just say they're picking the side of the aisle which they're choosing. They really put the wrong dog in that fight, because when you start talking about the buying public, you're talking about just so much more money than you guys ever really truly could just consider people just worthy not spending. Or okay, they see it as not worth their time to go to the parks if it's going to be a situation where they see them supporting something that they disagree with. Okay, that's it right there. So when you walk into parks and you're seeing
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
yeah, you're looking at people that are just not doing it. They're really really not into it. And when it comes time where you're seeing things that are just a little bit yeah, they really don't feel like expending their hard-won money in a place as expensive as Disney land or world, or whichever. They just don't see worth it spending their money in that type of enterprise to further a cause they disagree with. See you in a second here. I got tiger juice. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, they keep going on about like, Hunter Biden is going to be in trouble and Hunter Biden is going to have this, that, and the other thing. Hunter Biden's getting a slap on the wrist, folks. I mean, if you look at everything he's being charged with, that's stuff that you'd be slammed with. Doing a firearms purchase while being a habitual drug user and falsifying the 4473. You don't get away with that one easy, okay? That's not like something that you just walk away and they just go, oh, it's cool, dude. Okay, you didn't do anything all that big a deal. It's not like you went completely. Sound guy, what are you doing, man? Okay, it could be said that people doing that type of stuff would just get they would really really get
But I pooped from there.
God. God. Dick. God. Dick. God. Dick. God. God. Dick. God. Dick. God. Dick. When you said butt wiper, you said it all.
Okay, sound guy's being premature here. That was supposed to be like the butt wiper. No, I'm not using the right name here. The butt wiper frogs. He's got downstairs. Anyway, all right, I don't know. Sound guy, no, you're not. Okay, obviously, sound guys indulging upon some, adult beverages. Gator Red in the room says, "Daddy got him a favor." Oh, most assuredly. Hunter Biden is getting some very, very okay, I don't know about time machine, but he's getting magical things happening because obviously the DOJ is beyond corrupt, and I have numerous entries therein from stuff going on with Donald Trump, and how much it's really going to be a case of, the Democrats screaming and bemoaning the fact, oh, everybody does it. It's like, no, everybody doesn't do it. You simply just try to muddy the waters by saying everybody does it because you guys do it. Okay. Sound guys, put that thing back where it came from, or so help me, so help me. He's messing around with firearms again, and that's not good. So
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
okay, he's mixing alcohol. I didn't see him light anything up, but he's mixing alcohol. I don't know if it's alcohol and firearms. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Okay, well, he's doing something back there. Dude, slow down before you fall over the soundboard. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, Hunter Biden definitely gets special accredited treatment, and it gets very, very interesting on the other side of the occasion. I mean, I'm looking now at a news story from truthpress.com, and of all things, Dan Bongino, who's now got his own website, danbongino.com, he was talking about George Soros, and apparently he got a little too close to the mark because they had an attack on his stuff. He was attacked with a massive DDoS, which is the distributed denial of service attack. So it's a cyber attack used by hackers to deny readers access to the website. Essentially, he was talking about, George Soros and, his son Alexander Soros, and how Alexander Soros is saying, shockingly, he's even more political than his dad, George. And then all of a sudden, Bongino's website goes down. That's very, very interesting. You basically have a situation where you're talking about something and they're going, hey, man. Yeah. And the next thing you know, his stuff is just going, well, I don't know about that, but I know apparently what it was is the guys on the Soros side looked at him and were like, you
dick.
Okay. I don't know if they were saying that, but apparently his stuff went, yeah, it went down. And could be said that Bongino is like, wait a minute, my stuff normally works just fine. All of a sudden, all these hacker guys get in there and they start sniping on my website. And it goes down. Sound guy, what are you talking about?
What?
All right. Anyway, so essentially, these guys basically hacked his stuff because he was talking about something that made them very, very uncomfortable. And it could be said that the situation that you find yourself in, well, along with those guys, is they have to silence you because they have no good arguments for which to apply to you, thusly, to try to counter anything that you're putting out there. So that is what it is. Patriot Fever in the room, Patriot Fever on the room, on station with Mrs. Patriot and Little Patriots 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, wow. Also working on a firearm owner application full of lies since it don't matter anymore. Well, dude, your record should be your record. I mean, if you're allowed to do these things, you should be good to go. Got people coming in the house. My dog's going bonkers. Anyway, Gatorade had the whole internet died for like 10 minutes, and Saturday Grid went from 120 volts to like 60 volts. I've seen it very similar, where basically like the major websites just get really wonky, and it's not on my side because I can still log in or try to log in on my phone. So it's not just like my home internet. It's like actually some other stuff really went crappy. Excuse me 1 second here. Pedro River in the room saying, well, Hunter got away with it. Well, he got away with these charges. Now, the other thing, too, is also, statute of limitations and whatnot and all the rest of this fun fall roll and happy horse mess. There's some stuff that doesn't have a statute of limitations. And if he's up on one of those kind of style of charges, yeah, he's going to have a little bit of a problem here. So it is what it is. I don't know if you guys noticed in the decor, I have a different target up. That's because I actually did take out one of my builds. Unfortunately, because the way YouTube works, I cannot show you the device in which I used to employ said projectile launching. But let's just say it went okay. And actually, I was wearing ears, but there was a guy literally right next to me with like a 16-inch carbine. And I don't know what kind of suppressor or flash suppressor he had, or compensator he had, but literally I had the target back and I was getting ready to do stuff to it. And my target's blowing around from his firearm because he was like sticking out beyond the stall. He was literally like sticking out beyond the stall, level with my stuff, and the muzzle blast was just horrendous. You can ask anybody that knows, AR-15, M16 type of derivatives. 16-inch carbines, when you're right next to them, sometimes can be just barky. So I proceeded to take out Bark, which was my 7.5-inch AR-15 pistol, squeezed off some rounds, got a little fun in on that, and that thing is probably not that much more quieter than what he was shooting. So I don't know what kind of compensator he was running, but it was egregiously loud for the guys next door. Gatorade, someone got into the power company systems. Well, you know what? Anything's possible, dude. I mean, you get somebody playing around with stuff and they start messing around with things and they start tweaking things around, and it's
It's spicy.
okay. It's not spicy. All right. Anyway, so no, stop that. I was not just sitting there doing, thinking. All right. I had actually had a thought in mind and I was going to bring it out. Unfortunately, you, no, stop with the duns. Okay. There is no done here. Okay. Anyway, so look at the stuff as it is. We find ourselves with, of course, the reality of itself knocking on our door. Sound guy, stop that. Anyway, so Patriot Fever, I don't know if you were cutting in on time to hear about the Bongino thing, but it basically was a denial of service attack on his stuff. Down for a few hours, back up. But the hacktivists were going in there and they didn't like what he was saying about Soros. So there's that stuff. And of course, we're dealing with
Douchebags.
yeah, we were dealing with
Douchebags.
oh, douchebags knocking at the door. Okay, so I guess this is like barbarians at the gate kind of a thing. Anyway, so one of my cats is being very, very particularly annoying. They reportedly suffer. Oh, the Daily Fetch notes that Human Events also reportedly suffered a DDoS attack Monday night after the site published a report about 17 audio recordings showing Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden, on the receiving end of bribes. Here's a Human Events senior editor, Joe Prosabiak, discussing the alleged attack. And there's a Twitter link there. And he's basically breaking it down about what happened. And it took place right after we shared the new bombshell Biden allegations. Okay, bribery charges to federal officials. I don't know what the statute of limitations is, but I would tend to think if you're basically lighting up somebody who's currently in office with bribery charges, there is a good precedent for presidents being, how do I say this without saying this? It could be said that you're going to be suffering. Oh, no. You're going to get. Yeah, it could be said that President Biden might be suffering more than a little bit of yeah. So anyway, are you done? Anyway. He's really going through all the sound effects tonight, folks. Anyway, so the thing about it is with Hunter is he might get a slide, but for impeaching a president, bribery is one of the reasons Yes. Yeah. Patriot Fever. They might get pinched by the Godfather. Oh man, they might get pinched by the Godfather. Uh, oh no. We put you in office. We thought we could trust you. Unfortunately, you did some things. And of this we shall not say in public to polite society. But these things you did, they reach a certain level where we have to interact with you in a most unpleasant manner. Yeah, enough of that one. Stop. Okay, well, anyway. Dude, what are you doing?
Oh my.
Okay. I know what he's talking about now. He's basically saying you could either swim with the fishes, or you could take a very, very close look at this plate glass window on a higher level of a building. And if the building actually shakes too much and you fall through the window accidentally, oh, whoops. Yeah, that would be really, really unfortunate for okay, I think Sound Guy's putting his opinions into place where he's hoping that Joe Biden is removed from office. I wouldn't say it in the most expedient of ways, like he just said, because that would be wrong. Okay, so anyway, we all need to simply just take a step back and
Fatality.
Sound Guy, really? Wow. Alexa said Joe died already. Gator Red. Well, parts of them aren't exactly all there, so maybe it's a slow, protracted decline. Wow, you guys are on fire tonight. So yeah, Bongino had that occur. Sketch, very strange. Not something that normally happens. I mean, normally, your website's up and running. You really don't have, to worry about denial of service attacks, because normally most people fall under the radar. It's not worth the time for the hacker to even play with you. Anyway, so scrolly. On the other side of the occasions of things, this one is kind of really probably the best weapon the guy can use. But if you want to talk about the whole get together on January 6th, there's a prisoner who is now on a hunger strike, and he's lost 30 pounds. So Larry Brock Jr., a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel who was sentenced to 2 years in prison for walking inside the Capitol building on January 6th, has lost 30 pounds since starting a hunger strike, according to a report from Epic Times. So the retired Air Force colonel was indicted on 6 charges, including obstruction of an official proceeding, which carries a maximum prison sentence of 20 years, according to court documents. He was turned into the FBI by his ex-wife, who said she, quote unquote, wasn't surprised to see photos of him in the Capitol. Was fired from his job after the January 10. Granted supervised release for a few days later. Then he was sentenced to 2 years to prison on March 18. On the video statement, the combat veteran explained what he was doing in the Capitol, stating he showed up peacefully, protest the election results, said he wore protective gear because he was aware of attacks from Antifa and BLM extremists. He mentioned the fact they were undercover DC Metropolitan Police officers in the crowd. Some of them encouraged protesters to enter the Capitol, yelling, "Go, go, go." That's the other side of things that they're really not getting into. And I find it very striking that they said this is like, an armed resurrection, all the rest of this fun stuff. If this is an armed resurrection, this was the most peaceful get-together I think I've ever seen for taking over a country. Excuse me a second. So basically, he did do some stupid stuff. But the thing about it is, there's also 41,000 hours of surveillance footage that MPD and other undercover law enforcement officials where additional agitators can be identified. And he got stuck with this stuff. Why? Because he's the big face. Well, I tend to think if he does a starvation, to basically his imminent demise, that's not going to look very good for the people that basically stuck him in the clink. And then the other side of it, too, is also that you have the whole thing about polling now is being done, and they're seeing that a majority of Americans think the Trump indictment was and is politically motivated, also from Patriot Alerts. So, new poll conducted by Harvard/CAPS Harris, I don't know who that is, found that a majority of Americans believe that the federal indictment of former President Donald Trump is politically motivated and amounts to election interference. Oops. The June poll surveyed 2,090 registered voters from June 14-15 and found that 55% of respondents view the indictment of the former president as politically motivated. This included 83% of Republicans, 55% of independents, and even 28% of Democrats. Whoops. A slightly higher number think the indictment constitutes, quote, interference by the DOJ in the 2024 elections, end quote, at 56%, including 84% of Republicans, 51% of independents, and 32% of Democrats. That's more Democrats. That is very, very interesting. Scrolly. Let me get that one. Scroll. There's usual scuttlebutt about people putting stuff out there about fearing this agency or that agency, or RFK Jr. claims he has to be quote unquote careful to not get assassinated by one of the 3-letter agencies. It's very strange stuff, And the other thing too is also he's kind of a strange bird. I mean, he's kind of one of these guys, almost like Rand Paul. He's kind of a standout in his own party. And the thing about it is that kind of a guy really, truly is going to be just doing anything for the attention. Is he a great dude? He's no libertarian, okay? I mean, I've actually looked up his voting record, and to me, he seems Democrat light. And to put it in perspective, I think his uncle actually was way more conservative than, RFK Jr. will ever claim to be. Does he have auspices and moments therein of being sort of almost centrist? Yeah, sometimes. There's sometimes where he'll actually be, in a different league voice statement therein of the, the general Democrat Party per se. But he's really not that much different than the other Democrats. Okay, I'm sorry, he's just not. Oh yeah, Gator Red in the Room says there's another report of this out last week. A great voting machine in Georgia were in the dumps, and the talk on the internet is they were hackable. Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is also I don't know why Fox News paid whatever voting machine company it was all that money. I would have said let's go to court. I would have really just held them up in court for the next 20 to 30 years, dragging it out for as long as possible until such time that the voting company actually found out to be very politically motivated for one side of the aisle or the other. Yeah. Patriot Fever. I still like the idea of RFK Jr. for CIA director under Trump. Well, basically it doesn't matter what the party affiliation is. The president can stick anybody in there. As a matter of fact, even the vice president can be in the other party. It's not a locked-in thing to say it's got to be this party and that party and all these other parties. You can mix it up quite a bit. You just find somebody who you think is capable. See you in a second. Scrolly. Fox staffers are jumping ship to work with Tucker Carlson. Oh man, that is beyond hilarious. I'm finding that really, really hilariously good, shiznit. This one I found to be very, very interesting, and I am not gotta move there this very second, but I've been to Maine a number of times, and I really, really like the state. It's just a very, very pretty place. It's kind of very, very laid back. Everything's kind of chill. They don't really do rush. There is no rushing in Maine. I mean, it's just it'll get done. Blah blah blah. We're not going to really kill ourselves in the process to knock it out like you city guys do. Anyway, so what's going on now is the Maine lobstermen have just won a major, huge victory over the Biden administration. So the administration, National Marine Fisheries Service, or NMFS, imposed a rule that would gut what was already a challenged industry. The lobstermen challenged Biden and company in court. So last year, the Maine Lobstermen's Association, the MLA, sued the Biden administration's National Marine Fisheries Service for its new rule that the government said was aimed at protecting the endangered North Atlantic right whale. But when the lobstermen claimed they were being threatened to be put out of business, that rule imposed operating limits on lobster fisheries and set new technical standards on how much lobster trap rope could be in the water, which would be cut in half the number of traps that could be deployed. The MFS defended its rule in court, saying that the Endangered Species Act demands that the agency make rules based on the assumptions of worst-case scenarios and, quote, give the benefit of doubt, end quote, to the endangered species. So the Biden team cares about the endangered whale. They don't care about the endangered lobsterman or the families able to eat. The U.S. Court of Appeals, the District of Columbia Circuit, wasn't having any of this and gave the lobsterman a big win against Biden. So Judge Douglas Ginsburg lit up the NMFS in his opinion. Quote, the service's legal reasoning is not just wrong, it was egregiously wrong. The service's argument rested entirely upon a half sentence in the legislative history. This, quote, approach to a relic from a bygone era of statutory construction, end quote. Under the service's approach, legislative history may supply duties that, as the service now concedes, is not found in enacted law, as the Supreme Court recently said. We cannot approve such a casual disregard of the rules of statutory interpretation. The reason is obvious, as any high school civics student would know. Legislators vote on and the president signs bills, not the legislative history, he continued. Ginsburg also seemed to call out the agency's historical hypocrisy in its rulemaking. Quote, only a few years ago, the service revisited its own interpretive rules, agreed with commenters that, quote unquote, nothing in the ESA was required to make it a worst case scenario to make the unduly conservative modeling assumptions, and rejected comments arguing they should give the benefit of the doubt to the species by evaluating effects or activities that were possibly even not likely. So basically, this guy was just like, you know what? Take your Bravo Sierra and go screw. Oh, Pedro Viva in the room says, one thing I noticed, the Dems own the Senate with 48 members, but there are 49 Republicans and 3 independents. So how do they not have the majority? Well, it's very simple, because the independents caucus with the Democrats. Bernie Sanders. Oh, you gotta be with the people who know better. Yeah, Bernie. What a load of Bravo Sierra he is. You want to talk about somebody that really is just no, sound guy. No, he's just no, he's he's that. Yeah. Bernie Sanders. You he's just Bernie Sanders. Okay, I gave him open sentence or open license, shall I say. Sound guy. I think you're done. Would you stop? Are you done? I hope you wiped. Anyway, there's a guy in Maine hunts and fishes to live off the land. East Grand Woodman on YouTube. Isn't he gone isn't he gone after dust term? I don't know what that means. Anyway, so looking over here in the stuff. Oh man. So I found that very, very interesting that, obviously they tried to do something. They gave a major policy overreach and they got their butts slapped again. This one also I find very interesting. Remember I had that first poll Well, there's a second poll that's getting very, very interesting. Okay, an unbelievable statistic coming out. This is RepublicanDaily.com. 30% of Democrats want Trump pardoned. Okay, and there's a reason why they want Trump pardoned. Mostly because everybody's realizing this thing's completely motivated by politics. And if you do pursue him like this, when the other side flips around and the other side can do these things, you can bank on the fact that the Democrats are going to be dealing with the same crap as what they're throwing at Trump right now. Yipes. And it's once you get into this whole crap show where they start throwing stuff back and forth, no good comes from it. Scroll. Let me lose. Hang on a second. There, I think there was something on that one. I'm just kind of pulling news stories up as I see them. Oh yeah, this one is, well. How do I say this without saying this? Well, there's really only one way to say it. Yeah, but if you're, well, going to San Francisco, be sure to, yeah, just be sure that you're gonna be doing a, So anyway, what's going on in San Francisco? Another major company, and this is truthpress.com, is closing its flagship San Francisco location. That's right. The flagship store from AT&T, which operated in San Francisco, will soon be closing. Come the beginning of August, residents of Northern California City will see the store located at 1 Powell Street in the downtown Union Square area stop operating for good. An AT&T spokesperson told Fox Business on Monday the major wireless provider plans to do so, were reported earlier by local outlets. Quote, consumer shopping habits continue to change, and we're changing with them, AT&T spokesman said. Quote, that means we're serving customers who are through the right mix of retail store. That's not well written. That means serving customers where they are through the right mix of retail stores, digital channels, and our phone-based care team. Translation, folks, they're closing the stores because they're trying to save money. Why? Because it costs too much to operate in San Francisco. People going in there grabbing stuff, all kinds of stupid theft, and other nasty stuff going on. Mostly, do you really want to walk around streets that are just covered in, covered in, okay, I wasn't going to say monkey feces sound guy. I was just going to say it's just covered in, just covered in, those whole thing of, it's just, it like is nasty to walk through there. And, to even navigate the streets of San Francisco now, you're kind of tap dancing around and all right, so you're dancing around there, and all these guys are just going, and you're just looking at them going,
You dick.
Cat doing stupid stuff. Anyway, so yeah, it's enough that you say it's San Francisco and you're rolling out because you don't want to be dealing with that kind of stuff. Gatorade pack KY stuff. Wow, that double meaning is thus imparted. Yeah. Anyway, this is what I found kind of interesting. It's intended actually for people who are diabetics, but they found out that there's a secondary use for the medication Ozempic. If you take Ozempic, it can drop your body weight. But the medication initially designed for people with type 2 diabetes can have serious side effects. Doctors are now reporting witnessing a spike in ER admission among users. So the celebrity hyped injectable could cause cancer, blurred vision, pancreatitis, and gallstones. Well, if you don't have a gallbladder, you're not going to have gallstones. But there's other stuff going on. So anyway, the doctor is now reporting a spike in ER admissions among users. Injected once a week into the stomach, thigh, or arm, Ozempic and its sister drug, Wegovy, are semaglutides, which helps the pancreas release the right amount of insulin when blood sugar levels are high. Semaglutide is produced when we eat, tells the brain we are full. It helps people feel less hungry, to feel full faster, and to stay full longer. And it does so when we're actually less full. However, that sensation can cause an array of health problems, becoming more pervasive as Ozempic and Wegovy. Wegovy? It's Wegovy. Wegovy continues to surge in popularity. Just last week, one ER doctor took Twitter to write the amount of people coming to ER for the side effects of Ozempic: diarrhea, nausea, bloating. Yeah, so it's not like a complete fix. Sound guy. Sound guy.
You dick.
Anyway.
Dick.
Stop. All right. So Lori A. Kiefer, an academic health psychologist and a director for psychobehavioral research within the Division of Gastroenterology at Mount Sinai, told CBS News she was personally seeing Ozempic patients present with the latter two issues. Okay, you got secondary issues to try to lose weight. Might not be good. Alarmingly, the doctor declared some serious long-term side effects remain unseen, given the drugs are relatively new in the market. The official prescribing guide for Ozempic states that the side effects could include possible thyroid tumors, including cancer. Okay, so if you don't need this stuff, if you're not diabetic, don't take this stuff, please. Just wow. Wow. Yikes. Hang on a second here. Somebody's spamming me in my email. All right. Scrolly. This one, I think, is one of those illustrative things you will always see about Donald John Trump. The guy has zero filter, and when he says what he's going to say, he just says it. There's no way in the world you're going to get anything but like straight poop out of the man, because there really is no filter. He don't care who he offends. Just give me 1 second. So anyway, this one coming also from RepublicanDaily.com. There's an interview with Bret Baier of Fox News. Former President Trump told the Fox host he is no longer a fan of the network. He also pushed back against special counsel Jack Smith's federal indictment and pointed to President Biden's own extensive classified document scandal. Quote, "For me, at times, the Washington Post, various people, even Fox, because you know I'm not a great fan of Fox anymore," Fox told Baier, "but you're sitting here. Well, you got to get your word out somehow, right?" Trump shot back. "They fought me very hard in 2016, very much like they're fighting me now, very, very hard, and I won. Then they became very nice," Trump said. Baier also claimed a lot more independents watch Fox News than any other cable news network. More independents watch Fox News than any other news source, he said. A whole lot less used to watch it. Trump immediately fired back. They do watch Trump, but they do watch, Baier replied. A lot less, Brett, the former president reaffirmed. So it's a whole back and forth here where Bret Baier's trying to shill for his own network, going, "Please don't crap can me. I'm working really, really hard." Wow. Scrolly. Hang on a second here. I'm really trying to skirt around the issue with this whole like, Biden's now in trouble for this, and Hunter's going to be in trouble for that. No, it gets really, really just so repetitive and just ridiculously easy to just go around because it's just so much. Eventually, you just get sick of reading it all. It just gets tired, and I'm just really bored with seeing it. This whole thing with Trump, this and that, and Biden's in this. It's like, you know what? Just because I live near DC doesn't mean I want to hear about DC 24/7. I am not that political an animal. Oh yeah, Patriot Fever in the room. Actually went in a little Patriot Force. Democrats rolled out of his diaper the other night. I didn't catch it. Stepped in it. Immediately thought I was in San Fran. Oh, jeez. So he's walking around. Do. Why, you little... Here, you can have it back.
You dick.
Actually, sound guy, do it the other way. He was walking along. Do.
You dick.
That was probably exactly what Patriot Fever was thinking at the time. Oh, you nasty little
Dick.
Oh, man. Funny stuff. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but the whole Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney thing, it is not going away. They did it. Then they tried to say the ad agency did it. Then they tried to say, well, it's not part of our normal production things. It's basically just something that happened, and we don't really this, that, and the other thing. But, we are very happy to say that, well, we tend to side on that side of the aisle, so you all could just... Yeah, it's basically a bad case of those guys just... They really, truly just... They're not going to change up, okay? They're just going to be...
You asshole.
Yeah, they really are not going to change. And if you try to approach them on it, you can say, excuse me, Bud Light.
Sarah Connor.
Yes.
What?
You asshole.
Bud Light's not going to stop being Bud Light, okay? At all. So the thing about it is the boycott that's now going on with Bud Light is working, and they're really having a hard time even trying to come back from this one. So it's now coming in from Daily Wire. Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whitworth appeared to acknowledge with his most recent statements that the backlash the company is facing is having significant impact at the company. Do you think? Quote, we recognize that over the last 2 months, the discussion surrounding our company and Bud Light has moved away from beer, and this has impacted our consumers, our business partners, and our employees, the statement began. We are a beer company, and beer is for everyone. Okay, this is probably going to be one of the hardest, absolute hardest, bloody times ever. I will find this one, trust me. I got this. If the company's for beer and beer is for everyone, shut the fuck up about anything else other than selling beer. If you guys put your nuts in a vice and thanks, sound guy. If you guys put your nuts in a vice and you put yourself in the fray and say, oh, we know better than anybody about what society needs, so we're just going to insert ourselves in here and say this is better than that because we now fall upon these things very strongly, and we find ourselves... Okay, we find ourselves falling on that side of the aisle. Are you done, sound guy? Okay, so anyway, these rooster... Who's it? Rooster... What was it? Hang on a second.
I'm juggling thunder.
Oh, rooster vacuums. That's what it is. The rooster vacuums. Anyway, so scales revealed that the Bud Light transgender pinups don't sell well with bikini clad because calendar girls, also from the Daily Wire. Sales for Bud Light have fallen more than 25%. Its competitors have seen a large increase in sales. All the brands for Anheuser-Busch have taken a significant hit, including Budweiser. That's down 11.2%. Michelob Ultra 6.5%. Busch Light 5.2%, and Natural Light 4.9%, according to numbers. So basically, it's a guilt by association thing. So anyway, the guy says Whitworth announced the company is undertaking 3 actions to, quote, move our business forward, end quote. He said the company will invest to protect the jobs of frontline employees and provide financial assistance to independent wholesalers to help them support their employees. Translation, they're not going to be paying out the ass to support more wokeism. You're not stopping. You're not stopping. You're not stopping. Lastly, he finally addressed the customers. Quote, to all our valued consumers, we hear you. Quote, our summer advertising launches next week, and you can look forward to Bud Light reinforcing what you've always looked about the brand. It's easy to drink and easy to enjoy. No, it's absolute hit beer, but you can get the stuff and drink the stuff, and it's actually like drinking basically beer-flavored water, all right? Quote, as we move forward, we will focus on what we do best, brewing great beer and earning our place in moments that matter to you. Here's to a future with more cheers, end quote. That's not an apology, dickhead. That's not an apology. What that is you continuing to say, well, we're not stopping anytime soon because we think that our cause is just. Ridiculous. I wasn't walking around. It's only been a few weeks. And this, that, and the Dookie was this, that, and the other thing. Dull shelves of Bud Light in the fourth. I think it's really funny that when you go through the stores and you see like, cases and cases and cases of Bud, and then it's like everybody else's stuff, there's like 1 or 2 cases left. And the shelves are just completely full of Bud stuff, and nobody's going near it. You go to like the sports events, the Bud Light counter, they're just kind of sitting around going, well, this is great beer, but you can't move it across the counter. So they're basically hosed. They're not selling it. Budweiser, parent company, Anheuser-Busch, InBev, whatever you wish to call them. If you're so into making beer and not doing other stuff, you need to apologize. And you need to apologize consistently. And you need to make it so in any way, shape, and form that you will never, ever, ever think of doing something like this again. But, between Disney, Budweiser, and oh yeah, there's another third horseman of the apocalypse. Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly Cracker Barrel. Why they would do something like this, I have no freaking clue. Pretty much Cracker Barrel is usually in Republican areas. It's usually very family, kind of like homey type of stuff. But on June 8th, Cracker Barrel posted on its Facebook page, quote, we are excited to celebrate Pride Month with our employees and guests. Everyone is always welcome at our table and our rocker. Happy Pride. Included in the post was a photo of a rainbow-colored rocking chair in front of one of the stores. Continuing on. And this one, taking this from American Family Association. The backlash by conservative families was quick and firm. The Texas Family Project called in supporters of boycott Cracker Barrel, stating that once family-friendly establishment has caved to the mob. Texas Representative Ronnie Jackson has joined the process, tweeting, bye-bye, Cracker Barrel. I will never eat there again. Over the past few years, as Cracker Barrel's focus on promoted unpopular social ideals, some customers remarked the quality of food and service has taken a back seat. One guy, I will never be back at Cracker Barrel. The food's starting to get bad. Not what it used to be. Sorry, Cracker Barrel. You won't be getting my money. If you remember Cracker Barrel, it was Cracker Barrel who pulled the Duck Dynasty products from its shelves when patriarch Phil Robertson took a biblical stand on sexuality. However, the backlash is so strong, the restaurant chain reversed its decision and put the items back on. This is the only way these guys really, truly understand something, is when you basically make it hurt. Now, there is a petition here, and you can leave a comment on Cracker Barrel's Facebook page and all the rest of that Happy Horse stuff. I'm not going to tell you to get to either one of those things, but, if you feel that it moves you and you are behooved to go, this is something I don't think is acceptable. I just want to go to a restaurant, eat food. I don't want social agenda, and I do not want these guys propping up something I disagree with. You can vote with your wallet. You can definitely vote with basically letting them know it's free to send a message. It's free to sign a petition, and it's absolutely free to go on their Facebook page and let them know what you think. However, I think that's the other thing too. Is also it's come down to a point where you see a whole bunch of people now going, look, I don't. It's gotten, socially, it's gotten to the point where everybody's like, we don't care who you do. We don't want to see it. We don't want to be part of it. And most importantly, we don't want to pay for it when something that you've done stupid blows up in the face and now everybody else has to be responsible for it. Translation, we don't care who you do. We just don't want to know about it. And I think that's one of those things that'll be one of those continual just don't do it for, corporate entities in the United States. Shut up. Don't be a follow along and, do all this. Oh, I got to be socially responsible and make a comment about blah, blah, blah. Don't make a comment about blah, blah, blah. Just shut your freaking face. Page Review Room says, I will just go to Waffle House. Well, that's part of the problem is there's just not a lot of Waffle Houses. There's one I could go to, but it's like pretty good ways up north. It's really not that close to my house. Conversely, the Cracker Barrel is roughly probably about the same distance. But the Waffle House is open 24/7. And I got to tell you, man, you go there after the bars close, it is nothing but entertaining because there is always something strange going on in the Waffle House. Believe you me, there is always something strange in the Waffle House. Anyway, look at the weight, shape, and form in which we find ourselves. I do have a couple more stories here, so let me get into that one. But man, Cracker Barrel, you guys, why you dipped your toe into this one and decided to make a comment upon it, I have no clue. Excuse me 1 second here. Possibly some of the stupidest things you possibly could have ever done. Wow. Just wow. I'm going to jump on over to a maggot book here for a second. Hang on a sec. So hopefully things don't glitch up. I'm going to jump over to maggot book real quick. And like I said, I've been making this a month of response to the Pride Month. So I've referred to it thusly. I've said my rejection to advanced deviancy for those who go forth with Hubris Month. This is blinking phenomenal. How much money these guys are losing their shirts on, putting out these movies that really don't get the notoriety. Case in point, I'm probably gonna make this my last story, probably, but the thing about it is the box office, which should have been something amazing, didn't happen. So Disney's Elemental, The Flash, and The Blackness really tanked at the box office. All three of them have flops. I'm pulling this one out of Breitbart.com. So The Flash stars a seriously creepy guy, Ezra Miller. He basically, or he, they, them, that, this, that, and the other thing identifies as something else entirely. But the thing about it is they put this $300 million franchise with this gross, disgusting guy who's got a really seriously creepy history. And they said, yeah, this guy's going to be amazing. Wrong. The Flash has made $75 million in 78 countries. And the total global debut is $138 million. Now, put it in perspective, for something that costs $300 million for the movie company to make money on it, it needs to make $600 million. That's literally the way it works. Between the production cost, all the hype and advertising and, all the transshipment stuff, the distribution, all that stuff really adds up. So if that thing's only going to make like a couple $100 million, it is a major freaking loss. Hugely. But the thing about it is they're going to prop this guy up. Warner Brothers is going to keep using him. Why? Because, well, he's one of the protected classes in the Alphabet Network. Yeah. Now going over to Disney, They have a new Pixar movie, also $300 million, called Elemental. And it debuted at $29.5 million. Yipes. Lightyear only did like $51 million. And they keep doing it, and it keeps doing it, and it keeps doing it, and they keep doing it, and doing it, and doing it. Elemental only collected $15 million overseas. Yipes. Then, of course, you have Lionsgate released a horror comedy movie called The Blackening. So low in predictions said it would do $7 million and ended up bombing with just $6 million. Yipes. Yipes. So movie guy basically read up on the thing, or actually watched the thing, and this is pretty much what he said about it. He said, quote, "The story lumbers on for 96 brutal minutes while the characters spout BLM-approved talking points, and the movie assumes black people hold monolithic views on race, the police, and much more." And of course, one of the characters is gay. Somebody's biracial. It's swiping at this, and it's really, really lowest common denominator stuff. And I heard like one of the promos about it, or I saw something about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds almost funny, kind of almost like, I'm gonna get you, sucker, kind of a thing. No, it is like so over the top, just cringe humor that even black guys are probably going, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that one, man. That's just bad juju. So anyway, that could be a case now of, it could be said, if when you go woke, you will go broke. Patriot Fever, make bootleg Cracker Barrel biscuits. I wish I was home in the room here. That's literally the channel name. I wish I was home. My alphabet is neither M or F. I happen to be born M, 2 letters, not 26. Well, that's true too. I mean, I've heard a lot of people, and obviously, obviously the whole pantheon of the whatever XYZ PDQ letter network. Some of the guys are just like, you know what? I am what I am. Stop making all the rah about it. I just want to live my life, and I want to be who I am. Kind of like that whole thing I said earlier about, we don't care who you do. We just don't want to see it, know about it, or be a part of it. Just do your thing, man. That's literally all it is. It's kind of more of a libertarian aspect on things. Is don't make me pay for your own bad behavior. It's literally what it comes down to it. So if you guys do stupid stuff, that's on you. That's not on all the rest of society to go, I did something stupid and now I really, really want everybody else to pay for it. I wish I was home, so no, come to Jesus to just do your own thing. Yeah, dude, we're in this channel. We are conservative / libertarian / leave us the hell alone type of guys. Pretty much it. If you basically choose to go home and proceed to do any illicit medications and whatever you wish to do on your own time, have a blast. It's not going to hurt me whatsoever. If you decide to basically run around with the chainsaw hanging off your back, and you're wearing like leather chaps and that's your thing, enjoy. You're not hurting me at all. No, so basically I wish I was home. There is no come to Jesus stuff. I mean, that literally what it is my aspect on seeing any kind of religiosity is God gave you free will. You make your own choice in these things. If you choose poorly, kind of like that knight in the Indiana Jones movie, he chose poorly. Well, you chose poorly. That's on you. So anyway, where we are right now is I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me tonight. You got many other things to do on a Tuesday, but you guys decided to hang out with me, and I truly, truly, truly appreciate your kind attentions. And I think it's time to well, I don't know about don't do it, but it might be slightly time to relax. But it's definitely time to rock and roll. You guys hanging out with me, and I truly, truly appreciate your kind attentions. So good stuff like that there. You get a gold star for attendance. Many other things doing Tuesdays, but you guys hung out with me, and I appreciate your kind attentions. And I will move out smartly, and I will see you guys next week. So have a good one. I will see you guys next time, and eat good. Keep a 10 ring as always. Good stuff like that there, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good night, and I will see you next week. See you guys. Curtis!